That's great. This past weekend, it was my birthday on Sunday. So we did a lot of driving and we picked up my mother-in-law and then we picked up my one son in Pella and my other son met us in Ankeny. And so grandma got to see the grandkids and for two of them. So that was really great for her. She kept kind of commenting on how odd it was for her to, be on a road trip and be out. And so it felt really good for her. So it was a good thing. Well, thanks everybody. We'll get started in just a minute or two. Kelly, do you have our slide with the flag ready?
I do. Thank you for the reminder though.
Great. I see Dave Brown is out walking. Yeah, must be going back to the office is my guess.
Heading back, got a late start to the gym.
Gotcha. Okay. Excellent. Great to see everybody and great to see that we have some visitors joining us today as well. So just a reminder to everybody, please go into the chat and sign in. That way we know you're here. If you're the guest of somebody, let us know.
At Harvard University and his DDS degree at Case Western Reserve University School of Dental Medicine in Cleveland, Ohio. He also served at Case Western as an assistant professor in the Department of Comprehensive Care. And prior to
Okay, so it is 12:02. We will get started. So welcome everybody. Happy April 1st, April Fool's Day. No jokes for me today. That does not mean anybody else won't. So I'm just giving you that warning. Welcome to the Iowa City Noon Rotary. My name is Barb Thomas and I am your president this year. And we will start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Kelly will put up a slide so that we all have a flag to salute. So Kelly, can you take that away?
It's coming. I erased it real quick. Hang on.
See, technology. Some days it's our friend, some days it's not so much our friend. Excellent. Great. There it is. So please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Well, again, welcome all. Happy to see you. Happy to see several visitors as well. Before we get started, I'm going to turn this over to Kelly Drown for a few quick Zoom tips. Kelly?
Wonderful. Thanks, President Barb. Welcome, everyone. Just as a quick reminder to please use your mute button. It just helps with taking away all that background noise so that we can hear our speakers clearly. The other tip is to look to your far right, up in the right-hand corner. You have the view. You are able to use it as a gallery view, which you might want to do on these welcoming and the introductions. But then as soon as our speakers start, I suggest you choose the speaker view. That just gives a much clearer picture. And then also, please don't forget to sign in. That is how we take attendance. So use the chat feature. And then if you go into the participant tab, you will be able to use that to raise your hand if you have a guest or are a visiting Rotarian, and we will call on you, as well as after the speaker, you'll be able to use that feature should you have a question. And with that, I will turn it back over to President Barb.
Well, thank you very much, Kelly. So we'll go into introductions, but first I want to welcome Steve Dakin, our district governor. I think he has a few words for us today as well. Steve?
Well, thank you, Barb. I will say that my wife and I are very excited. Our first grandchild is on the way, and that's not an April Fool, so July 1. And she's getting all excited, and so she's giving me a long list of tasks because it's going to be a boy. So, and so I'm all in. Hey, Rotary Magazine. We got an April issue, the second time this year, District 6000. So we're on the event page for the Ride to End Polio. So I hope that you have something planned if you haven't done it already. And don't forget that the club that raises the most donations for Polio Plus at district conference will get to give me a pie in the face.
Yeah.
And there is also rumors that whatever club has the most attendance there will also be a pie in the face, but haven't agreed to that one yet, so. Yes, district conference is coming quickly, April 24th. There's only a few seats left for in-person, virtual of course is wide open. There is a $25 charge for virtual, but all the money is going to donation. Half to Polio Plus and half to the Soup Up Safety Home. And don't forget, your club is going to be talking about a district project that saved a life. So it's really going to be exciting. Yeah, you may even have a tear. But we're going to have fun and laughs too. And this is one of the reasons, because of all of you, the District 6000 is the best district I've ever been around. So thank you, Barb.
You bet. Glad to have you here, Steve. And actually, I think seeing you with a pie in your face might be kind of an interesting thing. Now, what about for us virtual attendees? Like I've signed up, I'm attending virtual. I'm going to have to think about how I can give you a virtual pie in the face.
There you go. My wife's been wanting to practice, but I haven't allowed her to do that yet.
Oh, that's great. Okay, well, next I'm going to turn it back to Kelly. Kelly's going to call on you if you have any introductions. This is your chance to practice those Zoom skills, everybody. Remember, go to the participants button and raise your hand, or you can also make and kind of put in a message in the chat as well. So Kelly, I'll turn it back over to you.
Perfect. Well, we will go ahead and start with Susan Brennan. Susan, you have a guest.
I do. Thank you, Kelly, and
Yeah.
great to see everyone today. And I would say to Dr. Pete Wallace that April 1st would have been an appropriate birthday for you. And so that opportunity was missed out on, but it is my honor. I brought a guest today, and it's my honor to introduce our sort of new superintendent who took over that position in arguably the most difficult school year that we've had. And so I would like to introduce my guest today, Superintendent Matt Degner. And Matt, you can go ahead and unmute and kind of introduce yourself to the group.
Good afternoon, everybody. I was going to say good morning, but I think we've officially reached afternoon here at the top of the hour. So thank you for having me and letting me visit today. Susan was very kind in her introduction. So yeah, it's been definitely an interesting, kind of wild school year from a lot of different angles for us. And yeah, I don't know, a little history of me. I grew up in Traer, Iowa, just south of Waterloo, a little small town. And so I graduated with 48 kids in my high school class. Some of you may have had that experience, much different than the students here in Iowa City receive. And then I attended the University of Northern Iowa and the University of Iowa for both my graduate degrees, and then worked in Williamsburg, Iowa, just west of here, where the Outlet Mall is, and then Bettendorf prior to being here in Iowa City I was a teacher and a principal in both of those districts. And so just thanks for having me, and looking forward to listening in and to find out what we're all about here. So I've presented to a couple Rotaries before, but never gotten to just participate in the meeting. So thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you for joining us so much. Any other guests or visiting Rotarians? I'm not seeing any hands at the moment.
Well, I do think we have one. I wonder if it's the one Ryan's going to introduce. Ryan, you want to go for that?
Okay.
Well, I don't want to wrestle you here, Barb, but yeah, we've kind of got a co-guest. We both ran across a young professional named Christina Schmidt here at a recent speed networking event the Chamber of Commerce / Business Partnership put on. So Christina, unmute yourself, say hi to the group and what you're all about.
Yes, thank you so much, Ryan and Barb. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for both inviting me to this event. My name is Christina, and I work for Junior Achievement in Business Development, specifically in new business and connecting new businesses with Junior Achievement and our mission. And we are so proud to be serving the Iowa City area in programming in entrepreneurship, financial literacy, and work readiness into the classroom through volunteers and professionals like you. So it was great to meet you, Matt, and everyone. So thank you for having me. and I look forward to the meeting.
Great, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And with that, I will turn it back over to you, President Barb. I'm not seeing any other raised hands.
Kelly, I have a guest.
Okay, oh, perfect, perfect, Nancy. Thank you.
So, sure. So in my work, I have the privilege of meeting with some really intelligent, thoughtful Tippy alums, particularly in Chicago. And on one of those meetings, I sat across the table and had lunch with Brent Carstensen. And little did I know that Brent would not only be moving to Iowa City, but that ultimately he'd be joining the Iowa City Rotary Club. So it's my pleasure today to sponsor him during his induction.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Nancy. Sorry, Brent, and you can say a quick hello if you would like.
Hi there.
Welcome again. Special day for you.
That
All
is
right.
great. Well, welcome to all of our guests. Great to see you. So just a reminder to everyone that our club, the Iowa City Noon Rotary, is a member of the Iowa City Business Partnership. And that means that as Rotarians, we are able to take advantage of some of the great programming that the Business Partnership offers. And that included the speed networking program that Ryan mentioned. So one, I want everybody to just think about that. You can do stuff with the business partnership because we as a club are members. And it's also a great way for us to meet other people, other business people within our community. So that's one item I want you to remember. The other is maybe you heard Christina and you were like, junior achievement. Maybe I could help out with junior achievement. Well, you can just do a little direct message to Christina and tell her that you're interested and share your contact information. That's what our meetings are all about. We're all about connecting and helping each other. Okay, so if you think you are interested in doing something with junior achievement, I encourage you to reach out to Christina. Christina and Matt, happy to have you here. Welcome back anytime. And Brett, I'm thrilled that today we finally get to induct you. So that will be wonderful. Especially means a lot because I work at the Tippy College of Business and Brent is a Tippy College of Business alum. So I especially love when that happens. All right, we'll move on to some announcements. I'm going to actually throw it back to Ryan Bell, who does have another announcement about the Ride to End Polio. Ryan?
My continuing announcement, yes, the Ride to End Polio ends on April 10th, but it's been ongoing for the last several weeks. The way you can participate is super easy. Just wait for this weekend because it's going to be absolutely beautiful out, and then just go out for a walk or a jog or a bike ride. And then the most important part is pledging $30 at least to the district for our polio eradication efforts. And I will put the address you can mail checks to into the chat, but please put Iowa City Noon Rotary Club in the memo of your check so they can give us credit and we will know just how well we've done. So $30 buys a whole bunch of vaccinations. We're, as you all know, very close to eradicating polio. We just need to keep on pushing so that awful disease never flares up again. Thank you, guys.
Great, thank you so much, Ryan. Next, I'd like to turn it over to Chris Atchison to talk about district grants. Chris?
Thanks a lot. Well, President Barb, as the community, as the nation begins to come out of the COVID situation, I think people are going to want to re-engage in the community. And we're in the process now of accepting ideas for community grants here in Johnson County, the Iowa City Noon Club, up to $10,000 for good community projects. So let Tracy Triddle or myself know in the notice for this meeting, you'll find some slides and topics that will fit. But I really ask you, if you've got something that you're working on in the community, other Rotary clubs, let's come in together and put in a good proposal to get the community engaged in some restoration projects for society to come back full swing. Thanks a lot, Barb.
You bet. I think we're all really looking forward to those opportunities where we can gather and where we can kind of put our muscle behind some great projects. So this is a great opportunity for us and for our club.
And one thing I might add, committees, Rotary Club committees, if there's a project that you've been looking for, whether it's environmental or, Pete Wallace, some of the little projects that you guys have been involved with, think about, well, here's an opportunity to actually leverage some additional funds and do even more. So thanks a lot.
You bet. That great idea. Next, I want to turn it over to John Colshaw, who has an announcement. John?
Hi, Barb. Thank you. I just wanted to mention that one of the groups I'm involved with in Rotary is the LGBT Fellowship. It's an international group of LGBT folks and their friends. And yesterday, March 31st, was the International Transgender Day of Visibility. And it's an annual event that is meant to celebrate the trans individuals in our communities and to raise awareness of the discrimination that those people face worldwide. So I just wanted to call that out and recognize the transgender individuals in our community and just say thanks for all the Rotarians for supporting that. Thank you.
You bet. And, this is a good time to remind people, if you're on Facebook, there are a lot of great Rotary related Facebook groups out there. And one of them is specifically for the LGBTQ community. And I think it's the LGBTQ Fellowship, if I'm correct. But I encourage you, I follow it. I know that there are others who do. It's a great way for us to find out about support, but also to support others in our community. Because it's Rotary, we're all welcome, right? Everybody. Okay, next, I want to check in and see, I think Dave Brown might have a few announcements about some environmental concerns activity. I did see he was walking back to the office, so I'm not sure if he's able to do it. Dave, are you able to make a quick announcement?
I'll limp through. I think I'll be all right. April 24th, this is a reminder too, but this is going to be a very busy day. There's two events that are going to be in celebration with Earth Day. Earth Day is actually on the 22nd, that Thursday, but on Saturday, we are going to do a tree planting. Tree planting is at Court Hill Park at 9 a.m. Please bring a shovel and some gloves if you have them, if you are able to attend. We also have a 10 o'clock road cleaning, Adopt a Highway. That is going to be just south of Terry Trueblood on Sand Road, and that goes all the way from the south part of Terry Trueblood down to Nursery Lane. Again, we have some gloves and some things, but it would be helpful if you'd bring your own. But the other thing that helps us quite a bit is if you can email me and let me know if you're coming, and that gives us a little bit more knowledge to plan with.
Great, thank you, Dave. So appreciate that. And April 24th is a busy day. So you have those two opportunities to volunteer with the Environmental Concerns Committee, but then it's the district grant. And Eric Weiler is going to give you just a little bit of additional incentive to sign up for the virtual conference. Eric?
Great, thank you, President Barb. It's great to see everybody today. Our district governor, Steve Dakin, mentioned the annual Rotary District Conference. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to learn more about Rotary and celebrate all the great work that Rotary does both locally and around the world. The event is Saturday, April 24th from 4:30 to 9. It's being offered in person in Ankeny or virtually. And our Rotary board will pay for up to 20 of our Rotarians to attend. So a great opportunity to attend for free. If this is something you'd like to do, I will put the link in the chat feature. Go ahead and register and then forward a copy of your registration to our treasurer, Neil Quailhorse, and we'll get you reimbursed. So we're paying for up to 20 people, April 24th, a great opportunity to learn more about Rotary.
Perfect, thank you, Eric. So, April 24th, really busy day, but you know what? I have read the chat and I just found out that, today is a busy day. In addition, it's not only April Fool's Day, it is not only the day before Pete Wallace's birthday, which we also learned. We also learned it is Major League Baseball opening day. So I know there's some baseball fans out there. You're probably getting ready to watch your teams. And then in addition, today is Dine Out for Education Day. So as if you really need a reason to eat out, today's the day that you really do have a great reason to eat out. So we encourage you, take a look at the chat. Susan has shared some information. This is a great opportunity to support the Iowa City Community School District and, enjoy dinner out or take out dinner at home. So please consider those things as well. Well, next, this is one of my favorite parts of running a Rotary meeting, is that we get to induct a new member. So we've been able to do a few of those in the past few weeks. And so today we are going to be inducting Brent Karstensen. So in order to move forward, I'm going to ask Nancy Quellhorst, his sponsor, to provide us with a little bit of background about Brent. Nancy?
Thank you, President Barb. It's my privilege. When I met Brent in Chicago, I saw all the professionalism and drive that I often see in our TIPI alums in a Chicago executive. But I was not surprised when I found out that he was from Clinton, Iowa, because his Iowa warmth came through right away. Brent and his wife Ann moved to the Iowa City area about 2 years ago. They were super active volunteers in Chicago, even running some major philanthropic events in Chicago, which is no small undertaking. So hoping we can tap into a little bit of that talent at some point. Most of Brent's career has been in banking and consulting. And I know since he's been in Iowa, he's done some consulting work with Transamerica, and I believe with a Des Moines-based bank as well. So Brent, very excited. You've been very patient waiting for this induction, and really glad that you're going to be a part of our club.
Great. Brent, do you want to just give us a few highlights? So what is attracting you to join our club here?
Well, I think as Nancy said, we've got a history of volunteering and getting involved in our community, even a community as large as Chicago. And so I think a couple of things. I think one is just as we're getting acclimated into Iowa City, it's nice to get to meet other people. And secondly, I think we've just got this burning desire to try to make our communities better places. And I think this is a great outlet for that. I think it's also a little bit in my blood. My dad was a longtime member of Kiwanis. He was the president of the Kiwanis Club for a year. So I think that's just part of what's kind of, in my bones.
Well, that's great. Well, we are thrilled to have you. And, maybe we'll have to work on getting your wife, Ann, to join us as well, because I know she's your partner in many of those philanthropic efforts, and she's just got a great energy and a great spirit that we would love to have her as well. So Brent, officially, you have been approved for membership in this club because we believe you to be a worthy representative of your vocation, interested in the ideals of Rotary, and willing to do your share in translating those ideals into action. Rotary is non-political, non-discriminatory, and non-denominational. Our impact starts with our members, people who work tirelessly with their clubs to solve some of the most difficult challenges in our communities. Our efforts are supported by Rotary International and the Rotary Foundation, which turns our donations into grants that fund the work of our members and our partners around the globe. When you become a member of the Iowa City Noon Rotary Club, you will be joining over 1.2 million Rotarians around the world. Rotary International uses the term JET to describe what we do so well: join leaders, exchange ideas, take action. So your challenge as a new Rotarian is to get involved. Join at least one committee and bring guests and introduce them to Rotary as well. So I now invite our members to join me in a virtual round of applause for our newest member, Brent Karstensen. Brent, welcome. We are thrilled to have you. I think everybody, if you want to, you can also practice your reactions, your thumbs up, your claps, the little, celebration reactions, etc. So Brent, we're thrilled to have you. I have to say, this has been a really great year so far because we have inducted some great members within the last year. Brent and Jesus and Tagba and Alyssa, the list goes on and on. We've got some great new members. And now once that pandemic kind of moves past us and we all get vaccinated, we're going to have a lot of manpower to put behind some great projects. So let's all put on our thinking caps and think about what we could be doing. Yes, we can do the trees and the highways, but what new can we do? What could we do for that district grants? So again, Brent, thank you and welcome. Thrilled to have you. And I think all of us, feel free to go to the chat and welcome Brent into our club as well. So next, I want to turn to one of our newer traditions that I just love, and it is the Rotary Moment of Gratitude and Positivity. And this week, our Rotary Moment will come from John Kenyon. John?
All right, well, thank you, Barb. Appreciate that. I'm John Kenyon. I'm the director of the UNESCO City of Literature organization, and pleased to be able to talk with you today. So when Barb first asked me to share a moment of gratitude a couple weeks ago, it was spring break and my wife was about to load our two boys up in the car for a trip to see her newly vaccinated parents, and I was going to be left alone in the house for 2 days. And yes, I was very grateful for that rare solitude. But while I enjoyed that freedom and the productivity and most of all the silence of that time, I realized I actually missed them. And it got me thinking more broadly about the past 12 months. And while it's been so devastating for so many people and no one would ever choose to go through it again, there have been some positive developments that have made me grateful. So personally, I've developed an exercise habit that I'm cautiously optimistic will continue once the distractions of regular life take hold again. I'm eating better, and while, as an aside, the folks at the bread garden have probably been feeling the pinch because I'm not there for lunch every day, I'm probably healthier than I've been in years. And as for those kids, one entered junior high and the other high school this year, and I realized that those are ages when the outside world is really going to start sinking its claws into them and rendering me an afterthought at best when it comes to ways that they want to spend their time. But they've been forced to spend time with their parents, and while I mourn their lost social interactions, I do cherish that time we've been able to spend together. We've played board games and gone for walks, and those walks aren't always considered to be a forced march. They've started and occasionally finished any number of tasks, and we've just talked a lot more than we probably had in the past. So at a time when kids are starting to pull away from their parents a little bit and assert some independence, which I am greatly looking forward to, I also am kind of glad that maybe I've tightened that tether a little bit and hope that bond will remain that much stronger as they go off into their own lives. And in our neighborhood, we've been more watchful of one another. The life on our street is something that we hadn't really been a part of between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. And now we're here with everyone else. And we've started to watch out for one another a little bit more. People are out taking walks in the evening, stopping for a socially distanced chat, or carrying their lawn chairs over to somebody else's driveway to sit and have a conversation for a while. And we realize that we don't need to wait for the annual block party to bump into someone and see how they're doing, see if there's something we can help them with. And I think our community and society in general have changed for the better. It seems like we're a little bit more concerned about the well-being of others, more willing to consider the situation they may be in before jumping to conclusions. And I think we've been made more aware about how our actions affect those around us, putting service above self, as Rotary puts it. And maybe when we feel a cold coming on in the future and we're too stubborn to stay home, we'll grab one of those many masks we have accumulated and wear them to keep other people safe. So while I would reiterate that given the choice, I would not choose a global pandemic over any alternative, I must admit that looking back over the last 12 months through the lens of seeking out something positive, there's much for me to be grateful for over the past 12 months. And I hope that you have found that to be the case as well. So thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, John. That was wonderful. I have to say, I just truly appreciate hearing these moments from our different members and the thought that goes behind them. If you're interested in sharing your Rotary moment of gratitude and positivity, I encourage you to reach out to me and let me know, and I'm happy to put you on the schedule. So again, thank you, John, for sharing those thoughts with us today. So next, we're going to move on to our program. Our program speakers are going to be introduced today by Devin Van Holstein, who looks like he has his hands full today. Devin?
Thanks, President Barb. Just the lap, both hands, amazingly, are still free to do all sorts of things. You learn how to do all kinds of stuff with twins. These are the ladies. Here's Eloise, here's Chloe. But we are going to introduce our program speakers, and I've been particularly excited and taken time out of paternity leave to do this because I had a friend who went over to the facility in Des Moines as opposed to the one here in Coralville He had, and I'm going to mispronounce it, Gills-Barre syndrome, which is a neurological condition where essentially your brain shuts down communication to the nerves in the rest of your body. And so he just toppled over one day, and thankfully his lungs still worked, but like it was a very touch and go situation, and his lungs started shutting down. So thankfully this was before the pandemic, so he could get on a ventilator at the University of Iowa Hospital for a couple of months. But he went to the On With Life facility over in Des Moines, and the strides that he made in like being able to play drums again, for example, because he was the drummer in my jazz trio for a while, it's just been amazing to see where he started after that happened to where he's come. So that made me really excited to introduce this program and have them share what they're doing in Coralville. So I'll introduce our two speakers for today. Paula is a licensed physical therapist who has served with On With Life since completing her final internship there in 2018. She received her undergraduate degree in health and human physiology at the University of Iowa before completing her doctorate in physical therapy at Des Moines University. She's worked in both the inpatient and outpatient setting at On With Life, and is a certified brain injury specialist through the Brain Injury Association of America. And Kate Thompson, our other presenter for today, has worked with On With Life Coralville's campus for 1 year. She's completed her Master's of Occupational Therapy in 2016 and Bachelor's of Psychology in 2014. She has been practicing occupational therapy for 4 years with primary focus on neurological diagnoses. While working as an occupational therapist, Kate has had the pleasure to treat individuals in inpatient rehab, outpatient, and skilled nursing settings, and she has additional certifications as a certified brain injury specialist, LSVT clinician, and is SABO certified. Don't know what all of that means. I'm sure we're about to learn what all that means and why it matters to people like my friend. But welcome, thanks for coming and doing a program for us.
All right, Devin, thank you for the introduction, and thank you to all of you for allowing us to speak at the noon meeting today. My name is Paula, and this is Kate. We have a presentation today, so I'm going to work on pulling that PowerPoint up so you don't have to look at our faces the whole time. All right, so today we just wanted to talk about some of the big ideas, big solutions, and how we ended up bringing an outpatient neuro rehab clinic to the Coralville area. So who are we? On With Life began as a dream for 8 families who had loved ones that sustained a brain injury. This started in the late 80s, and their dedication resulted in a post-acute program that focused on the unique and complex needs of brain injury survivors. Since then, On With Life has expanded from a post-acute inpatient program in 1 location to 7 programs all across Iowa. As our continuum and programs have grown, we have maintained a philosophy of care that solidifies our person-served approach. We will always maintain our unique approach to rehab. We believe in the powerful impact of every interaction. Putting people first is something deeply ingrained into our staff and our culture at On With Life, and it will forever be a part of who we are. Our person served and their families will always be first. As Devin said, I'm a physical therapist, and that's one of my favorite things about working for On With Life. A lot of organizations talk about patient first or person served care first, but On With Life truly lives by that vision and mission. On With Life is one of only 2 skilled inpatient rehab centers in the world that's accredited by CARF. We believe that this is an exceptional quality to the care that we provide. We provide a unique and critical resource to this region of the country. The program puts significant resources into staying current in the field of brain injury. We broke down and created some innovative centers for On With Life. So as neuro rehab specialists, we are relentless in our pursuits to provide the best neuro rehab possible. This is accomplished through a dedicated team of experts who come together to seek out, develop, and implement the best practices. This is only possible through collaboration, involvement in national research, and constantly investing in our team and the technology at their disposal. As you can see on the right of the screen, these are just some of the diagnoses that we treat at On With Life. So the big ones we see are brain injury, stroke, concussion, and post-concussion, Parkinson's disease, and then complex neurodiagnoses, which includes brain and spinal cord tumors, multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy, and other diagnoses like that. So over our 28-year history, we have addressed the need for services by developing a continuum of inpatient rehab, long-term skilled care, home and community-based, independent living, and outpatient therapy services. This is just a timeline at the bottom here. So the families that started the idea of On With Life incorporated the organization in 1987. Shortly after that, the post-acute inpatient rehab facility began, and that's located in Ankeny, Des Moines area. What they were realizing, some of the persons served that they were serving at that center had no place to go after the inpatient rehab stay. And that's what brought along the long-term skilled care for youth and younger adults in 1996. That is located in Glenwood, Iowa, on the other side of the state. A little later in 1997, supported community living began. So we have staff that goes out in the community and helps serve persons served with neurological diagnosis, get involved in the community and back to the things that they love doing. In 2005, On With Life opened an independent living apartment center. It's located right behind the Ankeny inpatient facility and serves as apartments for persons served to live more independently. In 2012, Ankeny opened an outpatient neuro rehab clinic. And then in 2015, there was a lot of expansion and renovation. Some of this included building a huge sensory garden in the Ankeny location. We're very jealous of that here in the Coralville location. In 2015, we had residential neuro rehab begin. So this is also located in Ankeny. It's a home that has room for 5 persons served. And it's targeted towards individuals that are still having trouble with either neurobehavioral challenges or integrating back into the community. And so it's a skilled center that helps them through that process and kind of reintegrate back into life. And then last year in 2020, we opened an outpatient clinic here in Coralville. At On With Life, they noticed a lot of people were discharging to different parts of Iowa and were having trouble finding that continuum of care after their intensive inpatient stay. And so Iowa City became an area that they thought we needed to bring services to.
Okay. So one of the things that makes us unique at On With Life is we have a transdisciplinary approach, which means that one of the areas that we were finding lacking in the Iowa City area was there would be, say, a neuro-based physical therapist at one location, a neuro-based OT at another therapy location. No one was all in one building. So the really important thing here is that we have the transdisciplinary approach that combines all the appropriate therapies working throughout the continuum of care and working together, not just having separate plans. We combine our clinical expertise in order to return the person served as fully as possible to their pre-injury life goals, such as being able to cook when they were told they'd never be able to operate a stove again. So one of the biggest challenges that we have had with our first year open, as everyone else, is just how we were going to address COVID. We've made a lot of changes within the clinic involving sterilization processes, social distancing, masking. But now that we're moving more into the phase where people are coming out of COVID and still have these long haul symptoms, we've developed a post-COVID program. About 76% of COVID patients are reporting that they have at least one symptom months after discharging from the hospital. These can include, but definitely are not limited to, they're still emerging. They can be fatigue, brain fog, cognitive deficits, meaning like problems with attention and thinking, problem solving, difficulty with balance, dizziness, and just that overall deconditioning from being so ill for so long. Since we're experts in treating neurological conditions like these post-COVID symptoms, we collaborate with the appropriate team members, such as PT and OT or PT-OT speech, and we formulate that plan that best serves the individual. While we've been in Coralville, we have planned multiple community events just to try to get the community more engaged and really immerse ourselves here rather than being just an entity. We began with our open house, inviting local businesses and people just to come check us out. At that time, what was very rewarding is we had people come in that had been, 3 years post-concussion and had pretty much been living miserably since. So a lady walked in and literally said, "Can you help me?" So one excellent way of just engaging the community. During COVID, we found a lot of our people were very isolated at home and weren't able to get out and maintain the activities that they had before, like even just mall walking. So we created a virtual fitness class that ran 3 days a week and was open to anybody for free. We recently just partnered with a nutrition business. I cannot recall the name.
Power Nutrition.
Power Nutrition, thank you. To raise funds for brain injury awareness. It was assisting in bringing some business to them. And then we were able to get a small donation that helps further brain injury programming in Coralville. We do offer online support groups as well. We did a helmet drive last year where over 100 helmets were given out for free to members of the community. And we've also hosted free educational webinars, particularly for helping people in the area understand neurobehavioral events and how to manage those. For upcoming community events, in the near future, we are hosting a workman's comp educational event to further educate people who are managing the care of post-concussive folks. Particularly in this area, we're finding a lot of physicians and care management are more so just thinking that concussion gets better on its own and not truly meeting the needs of people who are dealing with these long haul symptoms. In June, one of our persons served is chairing an event where he will be speaking and raising funds for On With Life that will be held at Big Grove Brewery. There will also be a silent auction and some beer and appetizers included. That'll be followed by a golf outing. And that is at, remind me of the Saddleback.
Yeah.
I apologize, I live in the Quad City, so these places up here, the names escape me. So Saddleback will also have a golf outing that'll be the following Monday in June. We are working with partnering with potentially the police and other local businesses for another upcoming helmet drive. We're trying to expand the helmet drive this year to involve more of just overall safety. So really focusing on bike tune-ups, the importance of wearing a helmet, and really targeting the kiddos to get them more safe. Lastly, at this moment, we will be hosting a conference for persons served with Parkinson's and their loved ones. That'll be at a local church here and will serve up to 300 to 400 people. We'll be speaking about all the different topics of Parkinson's, how the continuum of care goes, and kind of how to live your best life with Parkinson's diagnosis. More of this information can be found on our website at onwithlife.org, and there's an events column.
Yeah, and we can share that website in the chat if that would be helpful for everyone. One of the big reasons, we're going to try to stop sharing this. One of the reasons we wanted to speak with you all today was especially just to get the word out that we're here. A lot of people have heard of On With Life, but most people do not know that we now have a location in the Iowa City, Coralville area. And we want to know that what services we have and how we can help the community.
Additionally, if there are businesses that are interested, during our Parkinson's conference, we will have an area available for vendors. So that would be excellent. If anyone is liking to get involved for that, we can set up a booth. If you shoot us an email or in the chat, we can send you information about how to get that booth set up. But we'd definitely love to have you there.
Yeah, we're looking for ideas for any community resources that our persons with Parkinson's or truly any other neurological diagnosis could benefit from in the area. Lastly, we wanted to open it up for questions and see if you guys had any questions for us.
Great. Thank you so much for this information. It is really wonderful to know that you're right here and that people can take advantage of that. If people have questions, feel free to go into the participants button and raise your hand. I do have one question. Do you, you hear a lot about concussions in sports, like for kids. I have a son who plays football. Of course, that's like one of my big concerns. So do you work a lot with the school systems or with the medical professionals who deal with kids who might, have a concussion from their sports activities?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, what we've noticed with this community is we're tending to see more of the older population with concussion. With the younger individuals with concussions, there's a lot more information out there and some regulations with therapy and schooling, what to do in those settings. But we've noticed for the older population, that information isn't out there. And so we're seeing people, like Kate was saying, maybe a couple months up to 2 to 3 years after their concussion that haven't gotten the therapy intervention. A lot of people just don't know that there is help out there and things that they can do to make their symptoms better. So yeah, we're tending to see not so much of the sports or youth related, but more of the older and working population.
Got it. So again, can you just read out to me what I'm going to type it right into the chat, what your website is?
Yeah, it is On With Life, all one word.
Okay.
And is .org, correct?
Yes, .org.
Okay, onwithlife.org. Okay, so I put that into the chat. That's a great resource. You may not need it now, but it is a good thing to kind of have helpful as well. I do want to open it up. Is there anybody else who has any type of questions for our speakers on their services at all?
I don't. I do. I have a question.
Okay, who's that?
LaDonna.
Oh, LaDonna. Okay, great. LaDonna, please go ahead.
Yeah, I love this presentation. We just had a question about district grants that we could be involved in. And to me, this might be a perfect organization to get involved with to try to do a district grant. And to our ladies that presented, the kind of thing that probably would be very helpful in getting a grant would be things like providing helmets. It seems like the grants that are a go with Rotary have some physical element to them. So if you ladies that presented would want to think on that and think if there is some way that Rotary could work with you and perhaps use our grant, our district grant, I would be happy to work with you on that. I just think you're a great organization with a great mission and you're doing an incredible job.
Well, thank you so much, LaDonna. We would definitely be interested in that. Where would I send questions to?
Me. Okay, hang on. I'll put my email in the chat, okay?
Thank you.
So, what could be great with that is that, what we really look for in those district grants are things that hit some of the main focuses of Rotary, which this would be like, maternal and child welfare and, so I think it can totally fit. The other thing that we really love in a district grant is the opportunity for our Rotarians to get involved. So, when I saw that image of your bike helmet day and, we would want to have some part of the grant request, have some element of Rotary involvement where Rotarians could, help publicize, promote, help hand out, the helmets. Maybe we have some handy people who would help tune up a bike, etc. So, that's one of the things to just think about. And the other thing that we've always wanted is we want to make sure that we have a Rotarian who will kind of lead that charge. And so you've got LaDonna who's kind of stepping up here. So I think if you guys want to connect with LaDonna, and then reach out to Chris Atchison and Tracy Triddle, who are our district grant co-chairs. Because there is a process, you know, we need a budget. There's going to be some reports. None of it is too heinous, but it is steps that need to be taken.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that'd be great. Looks like Dave Brown has a question. Dave?
Yeah, you're saying the Coralville area doesn't have a sensory garden. Does it have a space that could have a sensory garden?
At this time, I'm not entirely sure. We are renting the building, and I do have a very small, about 4x4 raised garden bed that one of my persons served actually built with me. So that would be something I would have to contact Grand Rail about, but I do a ton of gardening with my person served, and that's on my high wish list of even having a location that maybe even off hours, people would be able to come and have adaptive gardening.
Okay. Depending on if you've got a location and grants and everything else, if there's a way I could get with you, I'll put my contact information in the side, but I'd be happy to design that for you if you'd like.
Oh, that would be wonderful. As Paula said, we're super jealous of the Ankeny sensory garden. It's actually designed around the lobes of the brain, such as the cerebellum area is all about balance and really getting kids up and spinning and stimulating all those areas. There is so much thought that went into that.
Okay.
So boy, you totally lucked out today, because here's Dave Brown, who oversees landscaping for the University of Iowa, offering to design a sensory garden for you.
Oh,
Okay.
that's fantastic.
I just want to go to that sensory garden, okay? Because I'm going to tell you, like in my little garden, like I don't do anything with lavender other than go up and like rub my hands on it, right? You know, same with the sage. I hardly ever cook with sage, but gosh, I just love to like rub my hands and kind of smell those lovely herbs and things like that. So great for you to connect with Dave as well. Well, what a benefit. What a plus here. Do we have any other questions from anybody else in the club? I don't want to shut anybody down if anyone has another question. Okay, well, with that, I want to make sure that both you, Kate, and Paula, that you both know that in honor of you taking the time to talk to us today, our club will make a donation to Rotary International's Polio Plus program in your name.
Oh, that
and
is
all of those donations are actually matched 2-to-1 by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And so that donation will result in 70 vaccinations around the world. And those will be done in your name in appreciation for you taking the time today to talk to us and share us about your great organization.
That is fantastic. Paula had to run to a treatment, so I will definitely let her know about that.
Perfect. Great. Well, make sure you kind of look into the chat so that you can get some of the contact information that is out there.
I've got it jotted down. Thank you so much.
Perfect. And then I'm going to ask Kelly Drown if she could actually put up the 4-way test. So I encourage our members to join me. If we have no other business before the club, we will close our meeting with the 4-way test. I know Kelly's like back there, like click, 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 click. There it is. Great. Oh, there we're back to the slide. Great. So please join me. Of the things that we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Hey, number 5.
And number 5, Steve's is have fun, I'm pretty sure, right?
You got it. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you all for coming today. It's great to see you. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the sunshine.
Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thank you. It's great to have you, and keep up the great work. You're doing some great things. So, and it's just great for our members to just hear about that opportunity. So you kind of showed up at the right time, right when we're kind of looking for a district grant. We might be planning a sensory garden now, maybe doing some helmets.
This is fantastic. And if anybody is a really good face painter, we will be offering face painting for kids coming to the helmet drive. Currently, I'm the only face painter, so I would appreciate skills with that.
Got it. Do you have extra face paint, or must the painter bring their paint?
I'm fairly certain we'll be supplying it.
Okay. Well, depending on the day, I might be able to do it. So
Right.
some simple stuff, you know.
Nothing too fancy.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to make anyone into like an elaborate butterfly. That's not, you know, but I can do a little, you know, tiger hawk or something like that.
Oh, that would be a really good one.
Yeah, you know, we'll do those. Or I can bring tiger hawk tattoos. I do have access to quite a few of them. We tend to order them in like 10,000s, you know, so we have
That may
a lot.
be a little bit faster than trying to paint squirming children.
Exactly. And you know, if you ever work at the state fair, you get really good at like putting on tattoos. There's like a whole little science to how you can do it really quickly. Who knew? But there is, you know. Well, thanks so much. Really
Paula,
great to meet you.
Great
well.
learning more about your organization. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for having me. Bye.
Hey, Christina, great to have you here. Come back anytime. It's the same
Thank
Zoom link.
you.
So, you know, every week that we do it, we try to have these great programs like this one, you know, where you're learning about something new in the community that you probably would never really find out about unless you came to a meeting. That's the thing I love about Rotary, is that I'm like, I had no idea about that.